Hey guys, if you love QF's content on our free Sundays and Thursday sessions, then please visit our Patreon page in the description and sub to the Black Kluge tier or higher for full access to not only our bonus weekly Tuesday night shows and the alternate Sunday shows you've been missing, but also to the exclusive episodes not available to the lower tiers. It's roughly the price of one coffee a month, and nobody at Starbucks will make you laugh like we do for that kind of scratch. In addition, when you sub to the Black Kluge tier, you'll get 2 weeks advance access to each Thursday session on Patreon before it makes it to YouTube.
You know, nowadays, because there are podcasts and everybody's podcasting and on the radio, everybody now thinks they know how to do radio, they know how to do talk, they know how to do... But you've never gone on a radio station and had to get ratings. It's nonsense what you're doing, sitting in your house with your podcast. Don't listen to the noise of the internet. I listen to the morons who sit and comment on my show. They don't know what's in my brain. They haven't had a career for over 40 years. They don't have a clue. They're sitting at home living with their parents in a basement somewhere writing about me. Use your fucking head.
I mean, I guess it's good for people who just want to be on the radio, but there were a lot of really bad broadcasters who got weeded out by the system. Now they don't get weeded out anymore.
Oh, no.
If they've got 10 listeners, they're happy with it, and they do these shows, and they get their friends to come on.
I've been doing this a long time. I'm somewhat jaded, I guess. You know,
Jaded in what sense?
In the sense that I'm no longer captivated by the microphone now that everyone has one in their basement. So, you know, the idea of, you know, everybody having access to my job is a little annoying and doesn't exactly get me. I wasn't excited about the job beforehand, and now I'm really not excited. The medium was supposed to be just for a select few people who get on radio stations. What's happened is now everybody has access, and I don't like it. I mean, it's just annoying. Used to be special being on the radio. Now I'm just a douche. I literally go to parties, and I'll meet some woman there. She go, "What do you do?" I go, "I'm on the radio." There she goes, "Oh, I have a radio show." It's so fucking annoying, I can't even tell you. Those guys, you know, which gets me crazy because I spent that entire career in radio for nothing. I should have just been broadcasting out of my house all this time. Did you see Haktua? Haktua got a podcast.
I can't imagine what that's going to be about.
I got a tape I can play of where she's entering her studio, and it's going to annoy the fuck out of you because it took us 40 years to get a great studio, and Haktua appears to have a better studio than we do. You know, and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, you have a radio show?" I just interviewed the Vice President, Kamala Harris, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I did too. I did it in my bedroom."
Yeah, I did
Oh really?
too.
Okay.
Call Me Daddy's my show. Right.
Yeah. I just did it on Call Me Daddy. What is that? Everywhere I went, they were like, "Heard you on what was that show I did this summer?" With the three guys.
Smartless?
Smartless.
Yeah.
Go, "Heard you on Smartless." I go, "Smartless?"
Welcome, ladies and gents, to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm your host, Phil Moore, a.k.a. Jim Fix, on location this time. And so if you hear a different sound, that's because I'm using a different mic in a different way. And I apologize for any ambient noise because Mrs. Fillmore is in the background on her AirPods, and she's doing her best to be as incognito as possible. And here with Miss Raven Alexis. How are you, my dear?
Hi, Fillmore. Hi, everybody. Doing great.
Guys, we are going to go for April 28th on this one. As yet, I do not have a name for this episode, but it'll be some guitar Photoshop most likely, because we have a little of that. But we're going into several things that will pique your interest. This first one I've named, Hopefully This Stays in the Vault.
Yeah. So I was, when the Knicks were playing at 1 o'clock yesterday, I wrote my new hit song. My problem is, who do I get to sing it? Do I give it to, who do I give it to? Because it's a huge smash. And
you don't even want to record it yourself? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm not the world's greatest singer. I mean, I'm up there, but I'm not that great. I would like to sing it if I could sing. I would rather sing my own song, but I'm more like Pete Townsend of The Who has to hire Roger Daltrey to sing the songs. Or I'm like
I think he's Pete Townsend of the Who because of what's questionable on his computer more than anything else.
Right. His history search on
Yeah,
Instagram, his
exactly.
feed. Yeah.
Ladyboy stuff, yeah.
Carlos Santana, I have to get a lead singer.
You got to get a singer. Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's what I was doing yesterday.
Well,
And,
so we're not going to hear this great work today.
No, you'll probably hear it in about a month and a half. I'm going to really perfect it.
I have a question. We never did hear the Mark Ronson song, right? That he released that he made with Howard.
No, it turns out that all got trashed and Ronson couldn't do shit with him. Like they attempted something and somebody interviewed him or asked him a question somewhere. I don't know where I heard this, if it was Reddit, but yeah, nothing came of it. So
He didn't have much to say
uh
about it. He was just sort of like it was an abortive session.
yeah, he really said nothing about it other than it just didn't work out
Yeah.
like he had planned. So
He probably said,
I don't know if he's
he probably said, I don't want my name on this, so I'm not releasing it.
right. It was probably just, Wiggy gave up because he's lazy and didn't want to redo anything
Yeah,
or any vocals or rewrite or work on it at all. So he just wanted someone else to do all the work and make him look good, like
absolutely.
always.
Yep. This next one is called 79 doesn't get time or structure.
No, I played it for my teacher, and he said, I think it's pretty good, but you gotta put it in time. And I go, well, what do you mean in
What's
time?
that mean?
Yeah, what do you mean? And I don't know. All of a sudden, I realized my song's not in time. So in other words, it's just all over the place. It doesn't have structure.
That's wonderful. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Mr. Rock and Roll Music Hall of Fame that feels like he should be inducted and is Mr. Interviewer with all these musicians and doesn't understand time, but he's got a music teacher. He's had guitars for 40 years now in his life around him. He's had other musical instruments
Hmm.
and even piano lessons. You learn time in piano. So the fact that he doesn't know that there's time signatures for music when you're
Yeah.
writing,
Hmm.
I can only imagine how he's writing this song. And he's talked about it again. This was from last week. So I've already heard this week's shows. I'm just not done clipping them. And he's still talking about the song, but he does. One of the clips you'll hear in our next recording session is about him not wanting somebody else to get all of the attention for singing it,
Right.
even though he thinks they're going to get all the money. The money's in publishing. We've established that, but he doesn't even know that yet.
Yeah.
Like all this talk with people who've written music and made tons of money, like Benny Blanco and Charlie XCX, that are songwriters. And Sia was another one back in the couple years ago.
Hmm.
He just doesn't get it that there's money to be made in writing songs.
Yeah.
But I think he's more concerned with somebody getting notoriety and more fame from a song that he wrote. Now we all know his song has got to be just complete dog shit.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
So he says he's going to take his time putting it together and it's not ready
Yeah.
to be released because in the past when he's made songs or whatever, I know he made stupid shit with Nowicki and Richard, but he said he got so much shit for those and made fun of that this time he really wants to craft his songs. So thinking after the summer, maybe he'll have somebody fix it up for him and maybe we'll get some dog shite from him.
I think there's going to be an accidental, oops, my elbow hit delete kind of thing on the keyboard.
Yeah.
We can't recover it. So the next one is, this is a great clip. Thanks for clipping it. Beef is over the guitar nonsense.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's so funny. She's the one who said, I would like you to write a song. And she actually gave me the topic. And I said, okay, I'll do that. I could tap into that. And I went off and did it. And then I started playing it for her. And she just walks out of the room. Like she didn't even wait for the end of the song. And I go, are you she has no attention span for my music. Zero. I
Wasn't
cannot get
there
her.
an emergency or something? Or
She literally walked out and like I wasn't even done. She goes, oh, I thought it was over.
Oh.
Oh, wow. What? I go, honey, We were taking a walk. I go, honey, you didn't even stand there and listen to my song. She goes, I heard the whole thing. I go, you kind of didn't. I was in the middle
just
of it.
gearing up.
Yeah.
I love that. You know what? The thing is, though, she's lived with him for however long. She knows about him and his hobbies. I mean, she's probably looking
Mhm.
at a corner somewhere in the house or a room where all this camera gear is just collecting dust. It looks like something out of the Smithsonian, and she knows about the grilling and the chess. He probably doesn't play chess anymore. So, but thankfully, Dr. Bob said, till he helped us out with the NPD stuff. We know that they don't have a long attention span, so they get into these things. They never really learn how to do anything, and then they just lose interest. And this is no different.
No, I think she's just happy that he's sitting in a room by himself,
Yeah.
being entertained with the guitar. And she, if it doesn't benefit her, she doesn't really care. Like with the photography, he could Photoshop her, he could take bikini pics on the beach and, put three legs on a dog,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
but it doesn't help her at all. She's just like, yeah, yeah, whatever. She's
Yeah.
totally in her own world, looking for her giggles and her wine so that she can go pass out on the floor in the kitten room.
Well, you see, the thing is, he's not able to parlay this into, first of all, getting better and actually being able to do something on the guitar to then use it to get on talk shows and say, I'm going to come on and play guitar, and even as a joke, right? She's not using this for any kind of clout. It's just bullshit for the air. And so she can't even use this for um like, okay, he's actually doing something where he's going to make a name of himself again as a guitar person, which is never going to happen. But
Mm-mm.
that's why she's looking at this guitar thing like, oh, this, how long before he gives up this horse shit again?
At best, she gets visits from Adam Levine of Maroon 5 to
Yeah,
come over and him and his band and they jam.
right. And then he
Or the
gives
one guy
this,
was a music teacher, so he's teaching Wiggy, I guess.
right.
But
Yeah. And then she gives him a blowy. The next one is 1D. I gave this fucking guy a life like a god. So he's talking about Booey, if I'm not mistaken, right?
right.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of the Bowie Bash.
Yeah.
Does he like
I love Fred. Are you kidding? Listen, who else would have taken Fred in the way I did? This fucking guy was a disc
Oh, sorry, it's about Fred, but it is going to get to Bowie at some point.
jockey in Hartford on the overnight disc jockey.
What's that?
This one is about Fred, actually, this particular clip, but he will get to Bowie and start talking the same thing. Like,
Oh, my bad.
yeah. So he's talking about Fred, and he needs to debase him because it's been a while.
I gave him a life.
Yeah.
I'm like God to him.
And I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, the next one, Fred spews some venom.
Nice kid.
your act of kindness is every day?
Every day paying for Fred and his life.
And I'm not the only one who should be grateful.
Fred, can I say something in all seriousness? I wish you would ignore everything I said about you for the past 30 years. You're a wonderful person.
I
We're
wish
starting
I
from
could.
day one.
There are
Yeah.
moments when I wish if there was some sort of surgery that could extract all those, very personal, painful moments.
I
and pluck them
recognize-
from my brain. It would be great. I'd be a happier man today.
Do you think Fred used his quota of words for the year? Oh, man. Jesus.
Well, yeah, Fred still plays the game where he compliments him on his guitar playing. Like, for example, this week Maren Morris came in
Mhm.
and did like a 30-minute session where she played a couple songs. She has a new album coming out.
Yeah.
But in the morning, Howard was like, he was playing a clip of one of her songs and her old song, I guess, that charted somewhat. And so he's like, I bet I could figure this out on the guitar. And then he picks up the guitar, strums it once or twice, and then all of a sudden he's trying to play the song and he's halfway there. But the thing is, he totally practiced that. He
Mhm.
made it seem he lied. He totally made it seem like, oh, let me see if I can get this and pick it up on my own just by hearing it.
Right.
But no, he probably watched a video or got the music or whatever, however he learns these things.
Sure.
And Fred just kissed his ass and was like, oh, you got that better than I would have. Those kind of just, he still plays the game, Fred.
Yeah, well, he knows. I mean, like, well, honestly, at this point in time, and I'm sure he's also had therapy sessions. I'm sure his wife, Allison, like Allison Norris, has told him countless times, take the fucking money and shut the fuck up. Don't engage him. If there's any kind of like, little banter, leave it at that. You're in the best place you can be because if you're not, how do I say this? If you're not present on the show, and all you are is just collecting the paycheck, you're not getting abuse. If you're not getting abuse, you don't have to go see a therapist for this. You just take the money. It's free money, even if it's less money than it
Yeah.
was. It's better than being abused and getting a little bit more money than you used to.
Yeah, I think after all these years, he knows not to bring his personal life into it, and he will talk to Fred maybe once a week,
Yep.
if that, and it's usually guitar-based stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not anything else, but you will hear Fred every now and then chime in. But it's just he adds nothing to the show, and unless he's doing a Ronnie impersonation
Hmm.
or a JD impersonation or a Booey, those are his probably top three that he
Yep.
does.
Next clip is called Grandpa Goblin Furious About Coughing Up Marbles, and this is about Bowie.
Well, when I
Right.
hired Gary, in all fairness, I said to him, with this job, you should have one goal and one goal only. And he says, well, what's that? Do I have to book guests? Do I produce? I go, no, your goal is for me to never think about you outside of work. Like once I leave here, I shouldn't have to even think about you. But anyway,
God, Bob D he would love that clip. Now,
Well,
is he
it says a lot.
well?
I
Is it
mean,
real?
that's how he feels for real.
Now he's not saying you shouldn't think about me in terms of like I shouldn't think about you, meaning I'm not going to gain some kind of supply over knowing you need me and you kiss my ass. It's more about don't bother me with financial stuff. Don't need me is what I'm saying. Even though you need me, I don't want to know you exist until I decide when, I get that supply. You're there as a vessel. You're not there as some kind of friend or confidant or there's nothing like that.
No, no. And if it's show related, they have specific meetings set up, or they do it in some in their profit system in their
Yeah.
chats. However, they communicate like, ideas for guests, which are few and far between anyway. Or there's this he has to go through Jason and Will Murray to set up what's going to be on the show. And then I think they just produce an outline for him. And if he wants to add anything in, or, when he comes on, whatever he's talking about first thing in the morning is usually at the beginning of a bit or songs they have prepped or something. So it's all coordinated
Yep.
pre-show
Yep.
that, yeah, it goes nowhere.
No.
It's not entertaining and has zero quality to it, but that's the way it works, I think.
Yep.
so, and Gary pretty much sticks to that, but somehow all of Gary's stuff always ends up reaching me. You know what I mean? So I'm taking a walk with Beth, and she says to me, Gary is being honored for his work with, people with AIDS. And I go, what? He bothered you with that? They go, no. He is being honored, and you can buy an ad, like an electronic ad that's going to hang on the wall when Gary is honored. And I go, hold on a second, back up. And by the way, I do applaud Gary's work with the AIDS. I don't,
It's
I know
wonderful.
he's involved. Wonderful. I said, but Gary, how did you hear about this? And what is this? She goes, you have to come up with something great to write on Gary's ad that we're going to take out. I go, what ad? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I said, I got to know. When did Gary announce that he's getting honored? She goes, no, Ross wrote me. Gary's friends with Ross, and I'm friends with Ross.
Yeah.
He sent this. Yeah, Ross is the chairman of, I said, so Gary appoints Ross because, when people honor you, like I've been asked to be honored, they want you to contact all your friends to make donations.
That's right.
So-
You're supposed to
so-
raise a lot.
Now, I don't know if that's an NSA thing or something of that nature, but maybe a long time ago would have been the Friars Club. They wanted to roast him, and he's like, "No, I don't want to be roasted." Of course, he doesn't. But I think it would be NSAL,
Okay.
and it would be a charity thing for to raise money, and then you get your friends to donate money to the cause by doing the same thing, like, "Oh, we're gonna have banners or something like that," but they'll all go to the charity. Go ahead, please.
Well, just to give some history, that Gary had a brother who contracted AIDS and passed away in 1991.
Yeah,
So he was always working with Lifebeat. They did the cookies back in the day, muffins, I forget what it was.
yeah,
And so he's been working with Lifebeat. Well, now the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation is having a gala tonight, actually, May 8th, and they're honoring Elizabeth Taylor, Rosie Perez, and Booey for all
yes,
their work in raising, millions of dollars for AIDS, which is
mm,
phenomenal.
yeah,
Great, you know. And Howard is finding it every way possible to make it about him,
yep,
to Jelly Bean that he's got to do something,
right,
and it involves marbles, and it involves Ross. But if you remember back when John Hines' daughter was getting married,
yep,
and they all were having the discussion over whether or not to invite Howard and how that was decided, because Hines did invite Howard because
yeah,
we determined that he wanted the gift.
yes.
And the him and Bowie probably had this same conversation that Ross and Bowie did and said, well, fuck it. It's going to get us money.
Hmm.
It's going to get airtime. I'm used to the abuse, so I don't give a shit anymore.
That's
I've
it.
got like, a steel casing around me on this. I don't
Yeah.
care. It's worth it if it gets free PR for the foundation, and I can take the hit. And Ross will take the hit. They don't care. They probably giggled to themselves, that he'll have a conniption and blow a gasket over this. So
Well,
there's
yeah.
that.
Well, yeah, and you get the money. Like that's at the bottom of the end of the day, he's going to send something and he's going to say, "This is the price." Like if you want me to do this, I'm going to abuse you on the air.
And the price was $7,500,
Yeah.
which is probably how much they spend on cat food in a month.
Oh yeah.
So,
Maggots.
mhm, or
Um,
guitar picks,
yeah,
right?
that's exactly. Next one, no more. Excuse me. Sorry. Five, four, three, two, one. No more private dinners for Ross is the next clip, guys.
If Gary is being honored for AIDS and now we know about it, I can't ignore it. Of course I'm going to. What's it going to cost me? Well, if you take out
Hmm.
one, I guess during the dinner where Gary is going to be honored, they're going to put up on a screen like an ad. If you get one panel, that's $5,000. But if you get two panels, it's 7,500. So I said, well, I got to spring for the 7,500 because if people see one panel, they'll be like, oh, fucking Howard cheaped out and it's an AIDS
Cheap out.
charity.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all people need to see. One panel from Howard Stern.
He's absolutely right there. Like that's something you do. Um, it's the optics. The optics are everything. Like if the max is
Yeah.
75 and the difference is 5 or 7,500, he's got to take the larger one because he will look like a cheapskate. The five will look like
Right. And
here, take the least amount, and I just and they'll go, oh, you couldn't spring the extra bit, asshole, with your money.
right, 2,500 for an extra, but nobody listens to a show, so they don't know he's this cheap. Because if
Yes.
they did listen to the show, they would hear it and
Oh,
understand.
oh yeah.
Geez, Gary's worked for him all these years and blah, 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 blah. Me being judged. I said, what the fuck's with Ross sending me shit? How fucking dumb is that? I never send
Yeah,
Ross.
you're gonna get on Ross.
Yeah. I'm not blaming Gary. Well, I am blaming Gary, but I'm like, I have never once in my life sent Ross an email asking him to do one fucking thing. But boy, oh boy, he was quick on the button. Gary, when did Ross become the chairman of you?
What I love, it actually was a brilliant move on Bowie's part because if it comes from him, he knows it's going to get shot down. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't care. But if it comes from Ross, all of a sudden, and it goes to Beth, Beth brings it up. It's like so much. It's like the path of well, there's always going to be resistance, but it's definitely the path of least resistance if it comes
Least,
from Beth,
right?
and you get it through her, and she puts the idea in his head, and all of a sudden, she goes, "You should do it," and that kind of thing. You have to do this. But if it
Right.
goes straight to Howard, he's going to say no.
Delete.
Yep.
But they were smart. They used Ross and Beth.
Hmm.
And then, and
Perfect.
then he just looks like a big crybaby.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Perfect.
Wah.
Perfect chess move. The next one is Booey pleads ignorance.
So
I
then,
got to take out a double panel ad, right? I mean, I can't be with one panel, right?
I don't want.
Dude,
I don't want to be
how can I
involved in
tell
this. No, I know
you
this-
don't want to be involved. How do you think I feel?
I know. So Ross is the chair of the event,
Oh,
and you're
this
right.
Baba Booey.
It's
This Baba Booey.
It's Ross's job to ask people, but I did not tell him in any way, shape, or form to
Of course
contact
you didn't. You didn't think to go, hey, Ross, do not bother Howard.
I don't know, man.
You don't know that.
I mean, I do, but I didn't.
You know what Ross is going to do. He doesn't think. I love him, but he's right on the. Who do you think he's going to send this to? Me.
Well, who else would you send it to?
To you. Did you get it? No.
Yes, I know about it. Yes.
Oh, no, you don't.
She does.
I do too.
I've been trying to get a hold of Rob. Believe me, you think Ross is
Well,
a pain in the ass.
Robin always has an excuse. Robin can be like, I was in treatment. I don't check my email. I don't have that excuse. I am not in treatment.
I wanted Robin to.
So I think, first of all, it's amazing to me that after all that 1 year of secrecy, well, it's not secrecy when you told everybody she had cancer, removed from her body, but then they maintained a year like, oh, she's fine, like she's here, she's in studio, she's doing, she isn't bald from the chemo. Now they're just out and out saying, well, she's got treatment, she's got cancer, she's doing chemo. They're like right out with it, and they're treating it like she has a pimple or she has like a head cold.
He's totally mocking her. I think it's been mentioned every day now for the past 2 weeks.
Yep.
Because I've been clipping it, and some days multiple times. Well, yeah, we'll get to it next time we record. But just trust me, that the fact that she came out with that People article and her bald head about, I want to say last fall, maybe last winter, this past winter.
Yep.
And ever since, I think that was sort of when she started crying during the Ann and Nancy Hart interview, during the Bon Jovi interview, talking about his throat cancer. And she was starting to get choked up. And I think that's when it was hitting her. Like she's got it. She's back in treatment then. And now he's talking about clinics. We think she moved her residence. She has a new setup on her, where they record her during the show.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, it's not a great sign by any means. But he's just playing it off like he basically told her, no, you don't know anything about this. And she's like, yes, I do.
Yes.
He writes her off all the time. Like if she's not doing what he wants, she doesn't exist to him. It's crazy.
The dismissiveness, and then the fact like at this point in time, this is when Robin should be calling us and saying, this, I want you guys to take this all down. When I go, you can release this interview. But in the meantime, let me tell you some shit about this guy. And because I would be livid. I'd probably quit at this point in time if I were her.
She laughs it off, like a champ, like she always does with everything. But that's just her way.
Yeah.
She doesn't have emotions like the rest of us do. She has more than him. But that's not saying much.
No, it isn't. The next clip, guys, is called Ross Knew How to Play His Cards, as previously mentioned.
Yeah, Gary. Ross was right. Got me you know what? Ross is smart. I never got the email. Sent it to my wife.
It to Beth, yeah.
If I got it, I would have just deleted it.
He knows what he's doing. He
does. He does.
I am not sending this to Howard.
What do you think of this?
Yeah, that's a brilliant move. Absolutely. And it's funny that Ross is still in the picture, sort of, but that he's not prominent on the show anymore.
Well, no, but he's not on the show, but in his life he is, because he goes over to his house. That's why I said no more private dinners in the one clip. Yep. I guess Beth was going out one night, and remember she called Ross and set up a play date for him and Wiggy to hang out. So there's that. Yeah. He's still connected.
Yep. Next one is it's again as we get closer to present day, there's more contract renewal stuff, and there's a Raven clip recently that I listened to all the clips, fantastic stuff, all back office callers, all contract stuff. It's you have to know the directive is he actually made a specific request for this kind of shit. Like this comes from him. This isn't Will Murray's genius Frankenstein brain. This is him saying, I want to fuck with the management because I'm not getting what I want again.
Yeah, it was just an overflow of butt kissery and lathering him up on how great he is and how he can't retire.
Yeah.
So,
Can you
yeah.
imagine that you have to tell these people your job this week is to call in and tell them how awesome he is?
hmm Yeah, I believe it. I
Unbelievable.
believe it.
Okay. So the next one is Wiggy thinks he's on a Witz level.
How far did Ross go hitting like up the chain? Like, did he send an email to Scott Greenstein?
Well, I will tell you that I won't get into the numbers, but Sirius XM, because they have a charitable arm here, has made a very sizable donation, and I greatly appreciate it.
It's so he.
I love that. I think,
Nice.
they might have said, I can imagine management saying, yes, we will donate, and tell Howard we donated.
Yes.
Just to fuck with him, because if you don't think
Rub it in.
if you don't think those execs have him by the short and curlies, you're in dreamland. Like they're at this point they're getting over on him. They really want we want him desperate. We want him like bitching and whining and moaning, and we will keep him on, but for pennies on the dollar.
Right, completely broken and beaten down.
Yes.
He's a broken weirdo.
Oh yeah.
Hit up like Jennifer Witz. And,
Well, no, there's a charity.
yeah, but
arm.
I want to. Did Ross personally hit up Jennifer?
I don't think so. I think you go to the.
Thank
there's
God.
somebody-
I got to get a hold of you two.
No,
I'll
no,
have
no.
a conversation. I'm going to have a conversation with you guys off the air.
No, Howard,
It's going to be it's really going to be a
there's
come
gotta
to
be
Jesus.
a meeting about
There's a part
Yeah.
of Sirius that literally has a
No,
charitable
I understand what you're saying.
And he went to them. It never involved Jennifer or Scott.
Why not? Why do you not consider me in the same category as Jennifer Witz? Why?
Because she's the fucking CEO and you're the CEO of nothing. What,
He's
Howard
a
Stern?
fuckface.
You what, 1112 production company? No one gives a shit. And the other thing is, if it's an event for Gary, okay, and it is for his charity, he has to take it seriously. Like if it's still making money for this life
Yeah.
beat, he has to treat it like it's a fundraiser or some I don't know drive or whatever it is. So he can't poo-poo it, and Howard's going to look like a complete asshole if he starts trashing the charity, but he can trash Gary.
All he has.
Yeah.
And boy, yeah, he's going to let him have it.
Oh yeah.
Do you have an organization that has a charitable
No,
arm?
I don't. But no,
So I guess
I
that's
don't.
why I don't.
But you
I
know
don't
what?
know. Ask him. I'm sorry.
In other words, okay, you hit up Sirius XM, which doesn't really cost Jennifer any money or Scott Greenstein. But you didn't personally hit them up.
No, but he's hit up other friends, and I've hit up some of my friends, not you.
No, but I'm saying why would you consider Jennifer Witz not appropriate to hit up for a charity donation?
Again, I didn't do this. Russ.
No,
took care
well,
of this.
why would Ross do that? You know the answer.
Well, because
what is the answer to your mind?
The answer is that there's a mechanism here at Sirius that you don't have to go.
No,
to
you're not
Jennifer.
hearing me. Personally.
Or personally.
Yeah, why not hit them up personally?
Because they're not personal friends with Jennifer Witz. Then Jennifer Witz has made it a point not to be that connected to Ross or Gary or anybody else, and including Howard, because Howard would not be fucking with her if he was friends with her.
Right. 40 years he's known Howard. So even though they're not technically like friends, the familiarity breeds contempt. And that's what you're getting here. It's a passive aggressive play on Booey, and it's Howard just griping to gripe because it's marbles.
Yep.
And he's got to be bothered with now coming up with some to put on the ads.
Oh yeah, and he needs a copywriter for that.
No, I guess because he's already.
I know why. Because you two fucks, you two great guys are afraid of them.
I'm not.
And you
involved
don't want,
in them.
and you're not involved with them.
Yeah. He's not afraid. They're not afraid. It's just what I said. They don't have a relationship with her, so they don't have that.
Right.
Like the other thing is, if it was back in the day, would they ask Mel Karmazin? They probably would actually, even though they're not friends with him, because
Mm,
he's massively wealthy, and they know it's for charity, and he can use it as a tax write-off. Howard doesn't even think about these things.
no, I mean, granted, Bowie could have sent personal invites to them to donate privately, personally,
Yeah,
and maybe he missed an opportunity there, guilt them
yeah,
because then it could have been used on the air. Like, I think that's what Howard's mad at, that
oh
he
yeah,
didn't go down that avenue, that he went through the work avenue instead.
yep. Next one is watch out for all the horse shit coming at you here.
Just saying, why do you think Jennifer Witz and Scott Greenstein? Well, why does Ross not bother them? But you guys feel it's okay to bother me. And you know why? I'll tell you why, because I'm too nice. I have Ross over to my house for dinner whenever he's around.
This is
Right
why
away.
you are the culprit. You skewed the line.
Exactly, because I'm a good guy.
That's wonderful. I'm a good guy. I was
I'm a
like
good
Rick.
guy.
It's like Rickles
Love it.
in the middle of his act singing, "I'm a nice guy." The next one, guys, is Bowie turned tables on Wiggy.
Not at all. You had your proxy do it. Well, you're doing what I do with you. You know, I go, when the guests say, I tried to get on your show and I couldn't get there. I go, that's Gary. And they know I'm full of shit.
That
They
ties
know
into
Gary has no power.
that ties into the last breakdown we did with the second part, I believe,
Right.
where whichever part it was of Jim Dumbass, but that's still on his mind, of course. The next one is I keep him employed.
I care about him too.
There we
Nobody
go.
cares
But
more
it-
about Gary. I keep him employed.
Wait, Howard,
So who cares more than me?
let's split that sentence. Howard does care about me. He does not care what I do.
He's right. Remember the book saga?
Yeah. That was huge. When
Bowie released his
no,
book.
go ahead.
No, it's someone that posted. I was going to get all the clips, prepare for like a Bowie book saga, but just segments of it because I don't think it's cyclical. Is that time where Howard just wouldn't shut the fuck up about it? It's a 10-hour saga someone put together on YouTube. They've already done it. The Gary Baba
Wow.
Bowie book saga. I'm going to download it and listen to it one day because it starts off, hey, guess what? Gary's having a book coming out, and then before very long, it's who the fuck cares about Baba Booey? And he has to shit on it. I've seen the Petcock saga, he did a full year of the FCC bullshit, maybe longer than that if you go through the years. He went through the merger stuff, all of these things, the lawsuit. There were all these years where and AGT obviously was probably one of the long ones too. But
That one, yes, the most memorable.
this Bowie thing, I didn't realize there was that much out there. I thought it might have been, a couple days this month and then, a few days this other month. 10 hours of showtime over however long the release was. That's a lot.
Yeah, Bowie earned his paychecks back then because Howard got so much material just playing clips from the Audible book.
Yep.
His Desert Island top 10 list. And he still does it to this day with the John Hine Fast Food Maniac book,
Yes.
which is such a joke. That
Yep.
guy. Let's not
Yeah.
get me started on him.
No Hine for right now. Next one is 79 bracing for the worst.
This would be weird to put my mom on the air now because, she's just not the woman she was. She's doing fine for somebody 90. She's going to be 98. I think she is 98. I've lost track.
98?
Yeah.
Are you
She's going to be
sure?
98. Yeah. In October, she'll be 98. And she's doing well for somebody 98. I predict, now, I don't want to jinx it, but I do believe my mom will be one of those ladies you read about that died at 107. You know what I mean? I think she's going to go the distance.
Wow.
She ain't going, I'm telling you, I don't want to jinx it. Should I knock on wood? There you go.
Well, there you go. Yeah, please. You don't want to
Yeah.
jinx it.
Yeah. I think she's waiting till she totally bankrupts me to,
Jesus Christ. Christ almighty. Okay, this goes perfect. This ties in
Yeah.
perfectly with the last breakdown when he talked about, maybe you can have a bit of. I was livid when I heard that. He was talking about healthcare workers, like maybe you can have like 2 hours without me paying for a home care worker. And, and now this, she's bankrupting me. My God, the payback is bad. It's only going to get worse.
He spent 30 minutes one morning this week. And I didn't want to clip it because it was just him doing a bad mom impersonation
Yeah.
of her not being able to hear him on the phone
Oh,
because her TV is so loud. She watches game shows all day. The Price is Right, um, I some Tattletale. Anyway, he bought her something that's supposed to make it louder around her head, like a cone system
hmm.
to amplify the TV sound. Well, she doesn't want that. Then there was this whole thing with getting closed captions, and she doesn't want to read to watch TV. He talks that when he gets off the elevator at her place, her apartment, that he can hear the TV all the way down the hall.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now the neighbors, he says allegedly, the neighbors are complaining about the noise in the room because she has her TV so loud. But he spent 30 minutes complaining about his mom and just trying to get her on the phone to talk to her and ask her about nonsense, right? But then he psychologically breaks down that because she never had a mother from a very young age, her mother passed away,
Right.
that she likes being taken care of and she's flourishing and thriving with all of these around the clock caretakers to do stuff because they have to answer the phone. They have to put it up for her, I guess, hand it to her, do whatever, bring her food, do her wash, whatever it is. She lays in bed all day,
Yeah.
but she won't go anywhere. And she pisses off all the people around her with this horribly loud game show noise. Like it's just,
Do you know,
oh,
do you know this is this
it's so,
Do you know how
yeah,
many
go ahead.
do you know how many parallels there are right now with what you just said and him and her? Like wanting to annoy people, wanting to be like waited on hand and foot, not wanting it this way,
Yeah.
not wanting it that way, instead of like you don't have options. Like this is the way it's going to be. We're going to have to turn it down, and you may have to read the subtitles, the closed captioning, and or you may have to get like a hearing aid. She's supposed to have one at this point in time, and maybe she does, and it's not working. Maybe her hearing is so gone. But I don't know. There are other ways to get around it, but it sounds like, this is man, this is this is Livia Soprano fucking with Tony. So the next one, guys,
Yeah.
Stumpy Teeth. Now this goes back into the Booey new chompers, new chiclets discussion,
Right.
and the irony of him discussing the new chiclets. But here we go. Oh yes,
Yeah. There's pictures. If you look at the pre-AGT days of Howard's crooked chiclet teeth, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
they got black by the gums.
Oh
The
yeah,
nerve of him to talk about Bowie's teeth over the years. And
oh yeah.
now he had some of the worst teeth, and Bowie can't fight back at all. He
No.
can't say anything. He talks about Bowie's teeth being too white. Well, hello, you got the same problem. And he did it with Sal
Yep.
when Sal got new teeth.
Yep.
The the irony and just
Just gall.
the way he carries himself, the gall of
Yeah.
this guy
Yeah.
to bash these people and nobody can fight back. Such
The f-
pussies.
The first thing I would do is show him teeth of him smiling like at 2005 at one of those awful white parties or something like that. And the teeth looked like a rickety fence that had been kicked in, that black
Oh,
paint had been thrown
awful.
on. I mean, there really were shit teeth. But to go to that level of where they look like, a freshly painted picket fence.
Yeah.
Oh, with like neon white. So here we go.
It's a beautiful smile.
It's better. It's better.
Yeah, it's better. You don't see any gums. I don't know how they did. How did they do that? Did they cut your gums?
He said they were going to adjust the gums, and
How do they do that?
It was like a laser thing. They were in there with some sort of laser thing.
Does it hurt?
I mean, they numb up your whole mouth because they had to pull off all the old ones
By the way, guys, if you're not in the Facebook group, I may just use this as the Photoshop instead for at least one part of this, because when someone released a picture of Bowie with his teeth exposed with this like the clamp on his gums,
Spreaders.
his spreaders, yeah, and I said, "Oh my God!" And I immediately thought of one of the Franklin expedition victims, John John Hartnell, I think, and one of the preserved mummies from the doomed Franklin expedition. And without a lie, it looks exactly like Bowie.
Well, I said we should throw some Reese's Pieces or some Reese's Cups in there.
Oh yeah,
And what did somebody do on Reddit? They put shrimp in his mouth. The
perfect.
same idea I had right away.
Yeah, so
But
it's a
hey, it's all
no-brainer.
good. It's all
Oh,
bash.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You should see the picture, Howard. It's the worst. They pull off all the old ones, so it's just these stumps.
Wow.
And so while
And what he and what and when the guy said he's going to reduce the size of your gums, this seems to me to be revolutionary
I don't
because
think it's the size of the gums. It's the gum line. It's like where the teeth and the gums meet each other.
and what
Yeah,
so
but how do
can
you
they
do that without reducing
Yes.
it? Yeah,
That's my
the
question.
gums.
I don't know. He's a genius.
Yeah, I don't get it either, because it would occur to me that you have to cut at the gums to like cut them off, and that sounds painful as fuck. I know I get skeeved out too. I white knuckle it through every dentist appointment I've ever had.
Well, I'm just thinking maybe they made the teeth a little bit bigger, just a few millimeters. So that they come up and yeah, you see more teeth, but at least they're like better teeth and they're whiter. So they're not that yellow green, you know,
Every
Billy
every every
Chomper.
every tooth is a highway billboard. All
Hey,
right.
he paid like 40 grand for those.
Yeah, Christ Almighty. So then it must be nice to have those deep pockets. So the next one, guys, is called Hollywood Delabate. It's a really short clip.
That's right. I think his teeth kept him humble. I'm afraid now we're going to have Hollywood Delabate.
I'm gonna be like George.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next clip is called Now Back. I love this one, and it's going to be one of my favorite clips of all time. Now back office callers have friends who ...
Yay. I have a friend who's heavily into fisting. It is the most disgusting and vile shit.
Yeah.
When I
Thanks,
saw
caller.
Wait, so that was one of those clips that I didn't even have to listen to it. I just saw the title and I go, yes, absolutely. Raven knows. This next one, guys, is the last clip for the day, but not for our breakdown, obviously. I didn't even know the context. I had an idea. Shandor Sanders. Now it's Deion Sanders, one of his kids.
He has three sons, and one of them is Shador
Shadora.
Sanders, who played the University of Colorado for 3 years, made millions of dollars as a quarterback, and he was projected to go in the NFL draft first round.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of him in the news, a lot of shame because he didn't go in the first round, second, third, or fourth. He went fifth round as the 144th pick.
Okay.
And who took him? I'm trying to remember now. But it was such an embarrassment because he set up this humongous party
Yeah.
where, it was Cleveland took him, Cleveland
Okay.
Browns, which is a shit city and a shit team to play for, but whatever. So his dad and him had this huge party. They have this brand already called Legendary. So everybody was watching. It was such a fiasco. And like each day, the party got smaller till eventually it was just like a barbecue outside on the front
Oh
lawn.
man, that's like
But-
J-Lo proportion bomb.
Huge bomb. And some people think, conspiracy wise, that the NFL did that to teach them a lesson. Some people think they did it to keep the ratings up because nobody watches after the first round. But this year they had people tuning in to see if this guy was going to get taken.
Right.
Because apparently he's really lazy. He didn't do the combine.
Yeah.
He half-assed did it. He might have quit mid combine.
Yeah.
He would do interviews with like AirPods in or
Oh,
music
wow.
blaring out his headphones.
Oh, okay, so the
Total
kid's an asshole.
disrespect. He is a total asshole. And we all know Dion was, but Dion could back it up on the field.
That's it.
And he played baseball. He did a lot. He was a great athlete. This son, I don't know if he is. Okay. Well, I'll just leave it at that. I don't think he's that great. I think he's mid at best, but he played for Colorado, and Dion coached him in Colorado.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that pushy dad on like my son played travel baseball. So we saw a lot of pushy parents, and then they became coaches, and then
Yeah.
they, their kid was like the face of the team and talking to all the college coaches and stuff. So yeah, you do deal with that at times.
Well, it's tough in sports when you're the son or daughter of a famous athlete and you're expected to like live in that shadow. And I know more of it from like hockey because there's loads of kids of famous
Right.
players that, they get drafted and, different levels and tiers and stuff. And a lot of times they're lucky because they don't have to get compared exactly because the dad was a winger and the kid is a goalie or the kid is a defenseman. And that takes so much pressure off them because they don't have to be the number, they don't have to rack the numbers. They don't have to be
Stats.
top of the
Yeah.
thing, the stats and stuff like that. But for something like this, I guarantee it was either he wasn't good enough or yeah, because of his attitude, they all these coaches deliberately said, "Look, he's definitely worth picking up just just for some, maybe he's got some mid-tier talent that we could use, or at the very least he'll make it to the CFL or something. But we're gonna blow up that bubble a little bit. His ego's too high."
Well, when you get Shador or Shandor, as Howard's going to call him,
Shandor.
you also get Dion, right? And Dion's a lot.
Yeah, no kidding.
So the funny thing about Cleveland was this was the fifth quarterback now that they have on their roster. They
Oof.
picked up one in the first round. I forget who it was.
Mhm.
Anyway, it just was a total shit show. And whenever rich, famous Nepo babies get what's coming to them karma wise, I am front and center. And so
Oh,
I
yeah.
was loving this on TikTok, Instagram, whatever it was that I saw, like the shame and the embarrassment and those two whispering in each other's ears. And you could just see like this was not going how they planned.
Well, one I was thinking of was we haven't covered it because we just got too much other stuff to do, and it's a lot of work, and it's tertiary. It's not even something that we need to do because it would be for shits and giggles. So that's why it's not a priority. Is the Baldwin's show and the
Mhm.
reality show. I promised to do that sometime with maybe C.A. Thompson or maybe with Kayla or you if you feel like it once in a while, just to join in and mockery, of course. But the kids, we will have sympathy, and we do have sympathy for the Baldwinitos because they're not asking for this. But the day that Carmen, the oldest of the kids, the day that kid gets on and becomes an Instagram whore, if she isn't already, they're going to get they're going to take the worst possible shit because at that point they're like, oh, I want this, I want this. If it's pushed on them, people will have sympathy. If they try to go actively out there for it, the way like
Right.
what's her name, Kris Jenner did for her daughters, they're going to be they're going to be reviled.
Well, I watched the first 3 episodes
Yeah,
as research
sure.
because I'm like, all right, let me see if I really want to dive into this.
Right.
And the one you're talking about, Carmen, she's about 12. She's the
Yes.
oldest, and she's a girl.
Yeah.
So she's already walking around in heels, putting
Oh,
on her mom's red lipstick.
fucking
She has
hell.
been groomed, and she's doing like makeovers on Alex, giving him like facials and concocting all this stuff to like for content, but she loves being in front of the camera. So it's going to be sad because this kid is doomed. She has no choice. She just wants to be like her mom.
Horrible. Anyway, we'll go with the clip, guys.
Like one on. But it just finished the Deion Sanders' son. What is his name again? Shandor.
Shandor.
What is it? What is his name?
I believe it's Shador.
Oh, Shador. Shandor.
Make sure.
I thought it was. You sure?
I got to check. Even I can't remember.
It's Shador Sanders, Shadeur. Shador.
So he got. Oh,
Next clip, guys, are going into the 29th of April, and this one is, again, as mentioned, a lot of Robin cancer treatment talk lately.
wait. By the way, I was on Instagram. Hey, thanks, Gary. Gary from Pennsylvania, everybody. I was on Instagram. I thought this was pretty good. There's a whole bunch of these young guys with shaved heads, and they wear those orange robes, and they're Buddhists. I assume they're Buddhist monks or something. And they sit there and they all, like, you go, what's this guy going to say? But I saw one of them and he was being interviewed and he goes, and they talk with authority, these guys. And the guy goes, when your body is healthy, you have a million problems. And the interviewer goes, yes. What do you mean by that?
What?
Yeah. When your body is healthy, listen to this guy.
Okay.
When your body is healthy, you have a million problems. But when your body is sick, you have one problem.
Well, he's right.
Well, he's right? It's like I know Robin with her treatment, day and night, her whole life is getting treatment every fucking minute to stay alive and to stay healthy. And it's working. God bless. Thank God. I pray to God every day she'd be healthy. But
I have experienced that. Yeah, I wonder what I did before.
Yes.
What did I spend my time doing? Because now I only can do this.
I might have to go follow some of these Buddhists.
Now that's a sad statement, but unfortunately, I mean, that is the path that we knew she was going to go down because she had stage 4, if I'm not mistaken, endometrial, and it's cancer, and it was, I mean, in that case, you're basically going 5-year increments. They go, we think you're going to make this many years, and then they never say you're cured. And I think, unfortunately, sometimes the headlines would say she's cured, and it's always it's never the right thing to say in that when you've been diagnosed like that.
Right. It would be remission, right?
Yep.
Isn't that
Yep.
the phrase?
That's the one.
But
It's in remission.
the thing is, usually, I mean, at least here, he's not talking badly about her or
Right.
kind of off the cuff. It's more
Sad.
a nicer statement of, every day I pray that she's healthy and, grateful that she's still here. It's just every day lately, it's been like an avalanche of this talk that we haven't gotten, and we haven't had one call about it. You would think like Marianne from Brooklyn would call in and say, Robin, what's the matter? I hope you're okay. Nothing. And I think that might be an edict he had even from back in like 2012 when she was sick the first time.
Yep.
Is not to make it a pity party, not to get her upset. And if anything, we're going to joke about it, but we're not going to ask her too many questions, like details. But we did see the port on her chest.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably some sort of immunotherapy, like a transfusion.
Oh, no, that's a chemo port. That's where they put in the chemo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been blessed and I haven't had a lot of cancer around me in my immediate family.
Yeah.
Except for grandparents. And that was back in the 80s that I barely remember. I was very young.
Yeah, it's a chemo port. They basically rather than go to the wrist or the not the wrist, but the hand veins,
your elbow,
or the
hand,
elbow,
yeah.
Because they get worn out. And Mrs. Fillmore had the same thing. She had to have one because there were constant IVs going through it. It looked like she looked like the Borg at some point with all the different IVs going into her. And
oh, wow.
so the thing that bothers me is, he's bringing it up. He's not flippant about it necessarily. He's not going like, oh, you had fucking cancer. Although he will do that and has done that in the last while as well. But it's the constant reminder of it cannot be good for her psyche, because she knows no one knows what they're going through more than the person who's fucking going through it. It's like, when you tell someone, oh, you're fat or whatever, like you think they don't know that when they wake up, aside from some, blinded, Gen Z who think that it's some type of personality, as as opposed to just a physical issue.
No,
but the bottom line is they're admitting she can't do much, or she can't do anything, and she certainly doesn't have the freedom of movement like before, because she's doing chemo, and they admitted she's doing it now, and that's where people get sympathy. But don't forget, this is the same woman who espoused, the green drink and all these, holistic shit, until when she finally needed a real doctor and a real oncologist and a real surgeon to get rid of this shit, then had the gall to release a book with her name on it while she was 300 pounds, and then say, but being vegan helped me. I'm not going to say being vegan stopped the cancer, but it made my body healthy enough to recover from the cancer treatment. Like, fuck right off. That's when she should have just said, fuck the cookbook. I'll have to give back the money. This is embarrassing. But no, she has no shame.
Take back. Yeah. give back the advance. I mean, she talked to her interns,
Yeah.
to the staff like Richard and Sal, the things
Oh.
she said to them over the years, and Jason.
Oh yeah.
It just when they ripped her apart for the
15 Foundation.
Brendan Murphy found 15 Foundation
Yeah.
donations
Oh yeah.
and all the work they were doing for her.
Hmm.
She just pissed all over them.
Oh
So
yeah.
she definitely, there's two ways to approach Robin.
Oh yeah.
I look at what she gives me nowadays, and
Yeah.
she calls out Howard on stuff. So I've turned a page on the chapters of Robin hate,
Hmm.
and now I'm going to praise her for any last dig she can get in on Wiggy before she exits the
Yep.
stage.
Yep. Next one is called Sloucho misses the old butt kiss days, especially after the Daily Mail posts the Pelican Brief or things like of that nature.
Adam
Radio
Levy,
show.
yeah,
Yeah.
articles.
No, years ago, I would get articles in the newspaper every once in a while where some reporter would be taken, a reviewer would be taken with me. I remember as far back as Washington, D.C., they would write articles that I was a genius, that not that most articles were bad, that I was a scumbag and that I was disgusting and there was no redeeming value to the show. But once in a while, you'd get someone write an article and say, Howard Stern's a genius. He really knows how to entertain the masses. And, you just don't get that anymore. You just don't get it anymore. And I'm really
wonder
upset
why.
about it, Robin.
Yeah.
There's no more Howard Stern is a genius articles. It's just.
Okay, let's be honest. Were there ever any Howard Stern is a genius articles, really? Even in his heyday? Yeah, occasionally, like people that would espouse his comedic, the funniness of the show. But would they ever call him a genius? No.
Well, I don't remember what was in the Rolling Stone article. The most recent one where he was holding the kitten and
Yeah,
the trench coat mafia pictures.
right.
I can't remember if that was praising him or not, or if it was just talking about his philanthropy with animals.
It was about his turnaround. It was also about Artie a little bit, and then it was about Beth and his
Evolving,
wedding, like all this
yeah.
since the last time, like his marriage falling apart and blah 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 and all this stuff. But he's really just wanting to say there used to be semi-positive articles about me, in the all over the place. Now no one comes to me, no one approaches me to do an article. I mean, they came to Robin for her cancer thing, or maybe she did it. Maybe she actively promoted, like she
might
pitched it, but no one cares about him. They just don't. I mean, it's always, if it comes out, it's negative, and that's what's really bothering him.
Well, how many people have, like, I don't know, maybe a lot do, but he's got, let's just call it 5 podcasts.
Yeah.
That bash him on the regular.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, there's us, there's Gunk, there's Deepening, there's Carl. Who are these podcasts?
Who are these podcasts?
Anthony Cumia will not miss a chance to bash him.
Opie
and,
too.
Stuttering John, Opie. I'm sure there's more. I
Mhm.
don't think Shuley does.
Not really.
But just to have that many people dedicated to putting you out of business and revealing the lies, the hypocrisy, all the things you've said that are not true.
Right.
How awful a person you are, how badly you treat your staff.
Yeah.
And then how you go sit in your luxurious mansion by the beach in
Completely
Florida
tone deaf.
and in the Hamptons.
Yep.
And you have a high-rise penthouse, 2 floors. Come on. Really? In this day and age, like, people aren't going to get worked up about that? Okay. And
Yeah.
your politics destroyed your fan base. It took half of them just right in the trash.
Well, yeah, and I mean all for the point of just getting these awful interviews with certain celebs, like whoever it might be. I mean, it was just it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it in the end because it didn't translate into your Charlie Rose, 2.0, or your inside the actor's studio or something
Larry
like that.
King.
Or Larry King. Like he wanted that, but it's obviously like, well, dude, you can't interview. You're a shit, horrible interviewer, and you're completely disinterested in anything you're actually listening to. I've never heard anything like it. It really is like it's worse than the Chris Farley show.
Right. He using Hein as a crutch to prep him for interviews.
Yeah.
To write up questions, filler, whatever, just a tutor on interviews. And then, like, he doesn't know how to ride the middle of the road. It's all or nothing with him. from back in the day, and then he flip-flopped and now he's like Mr. Woke and proud to be woke.
Sure.
But he doesn't know how to play the middle ground, to ask questions without judging and just hear someone's answer. He just
I've
can't. He
I've
always has to
interviewed
throw his mind in there.
in my personal life, which is annoying. I have interviewed many musicians over the years, and I'm proud to say no two interviews of mine are the exact same. There are a couple questions that are, standard because you have to, and they're promotional pieces and stuff. But when you get into the nitty gritty, they should be different because every person you're interviewing or every group you're interviewing is different. It's not like you're interviewing,
Yeah.
like when he does Charlie, when he interviews Charlie XCX or Lady Gaga. Okay, they're pop stars. One's a little older, one's a little more established. The other one's, up and coming and more of a songwriter, like just a generation younger. But there's going to be some common ground, so that's fine. But he's not even getting into the nitty gritty. He's being told this is what you got to ask. And he was looking at that
Mhm.
question like, am I going to research this? No, I'm just going to ask it.
Right. And it's right off their Wikipedia. And half
Yeah.
of them are wrong. I don't even know where they're getting the other stuff from. It's ridiculous.
Shitopedia. Okay, we'll keep going, guys.
Howard Stern is a
No.
scumbag, and that's all I
I
ever
haven't
hear.
seen one in quite some time.
No article. That's right. Remember years ago when we started in Washington, D.C., people were like very taken. And
We had reporters who followed us around and
Yeah.
wanted to comment on everything we did.
Do you know what this is? There is a picture. It's one of my favorite pictures of all time. It's actually quite moving, except in this case, it's funny because if you just, maybe I'll make a Photoshop of it. It's there's a Russian soldier from, I'm going to say, World War II, and it's a veterans parade for that generation, and the guy in question is the last surviving member of his entire battalion, I guess you'd call them, and they're doing a
Mhm.
parade, and he's crying because he's the only one left alive in the thing, and he's crying, and you could just see him wiping away a tear because it's an emotional event, and he's the last of his group around, right? And I'm thinking,
Okay.
this is Howard doing that parade. He's like crying, there's a crowd, but it's not, he's all alone is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right. There's no more praise. There's no more
No.
butt kissing. There's no
Right.
more soldiers to stand with him
No.
that were there from back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
something.
the next one is, and this is we're going back in time a little bit. Groundhog Day ripping on Beef's toddler palate again. This seems to be a recurring thing every so often, but it's not. I think it's been probably a couple months, but he always goes on about the gummies and the candies and stuff. So this is
Mhm.
in that wheelhouse.
Like monthly. Right.
So Beth has a sugar addiction, my wife, and she, she's out of control. So she was eating up so much candy.
Is it now out of control? She had stopped for a while.
She stopped completely when cold turkey, got her blood work back, and she was, fine. There was no high sugar.
Right.
So what did she do? She celebrated by eating a ton of sugar. Like literally her lunch would be gummy bears, and she loves Giggles. You know the Giggles? And then
I don't know Giggles.
and then would have pizza. Like it was like going to Chuck E. Cheese, for God's sake.
Wow.
That really is like the 6-year-old diet.
It is.
The day
We've
after-
talked about this so many times.
The day after Halloween. Oh, by the way, this is a question for you. When your kids were
Yeah.
young enough to still do Halloween, right? Of
Mhm.
course, they would bring back all the candy and stuff. Were there any parts of the candy, like their collection, that you would, abscond with?
Oh, yeah. Mounds bars. I love coconut. Dark chocolate and coconut. I love it.
When I was a kid, the big score, when I was even though I didn't appreciate it then, but I would have now, is when they would give you those snack, like single Reese's peanut butter cups for Halloween.
Those are so popular. That's like half her bag. Like she goes out. She was, let's see, 15 last year, Halloween. And her friend got dressed up. They
Yeah.
go around the old pillowcase
Yeah.
and they come back with, like, no lie, 10 to 12 pounds of chocolate, or mostly chocolate, like candy.
Right.
And I end up throwing, by the time like January rolls around, I'm like, are you done with the Halloween candy yet? And I always end up throwing half of it away. But half of it is Snickers and Reese's Cups, and the other's just junk.
Well, when we were kids, the big ones were Jersey Milk, Nielsen's, I think, Canadian company. Nielsen's Jersey Milk, which is just solid chocolate. What was the other one? Rosebuds. These are another. They're the same way like
Yeah,
Cadbury chocolates in
they're
the States. But you'd get little Mars bars, little Snickers occasionally. Those Reese's, those were like a hot ticket item because not many people had them.
mhm,
And then
I can see.
I'll never forget the one time someone gave us walnuts.
Oh no.
We threw them as soon as we got them. That was horrible. And anyway, guys, QFers, please let us know about your funny Halloween candy stories because again, it's a topic is about Beth and her candy fetish, and it's surprisingly all candy. It's not chocolate. She doesn't have a chocolate fetish. It's just sugar.
Pure sugar. Yeah, like
Yeah,
gummy
yeah,
bears and these giggles that are like Skittles.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I said, honey, this makes no sense. Your blood sugar was normal. Now it's high again. It's going to be high again. She goes, no, I'm telling you, I'm fine. Well, she got her blood work done again, and it was back up. So she's eating his bags of candy. So
How
she
did
said
she
to me,
think it was going to be down? I mean, really? Come on.
there's no logic to this.
She's a fucking idiot because the A1C test takes like 3 months aggregate over it's like the blood work deals with 3 month intervals of your glucose levels. So if you
Right.
go off like if in one of those months you decide I'm going to just snort sugar until my nose is bleeding, then it's going to affect obviously negatively your score. But so it doesn't mean that the next month if you decide I'm going to go off sugar, you're doing yourself a benefit. You're going to maybe get a little bit of an incremental effect, but
Decrease, yeah.
you decrease, yeah, but you're not going. You need to maintain that like month by month by month to get it to the levels you want.
Well, yeah, and if your whole diet is just sugar and processed foods like,
Holy fuck.
doughy pizza, I don't really believe him when he says that she eats as much as she does. I think when she does eat, yeah, it's probably garbage
A
and
lot.
it's junk food,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much fruit or fresh vegetables going into this woman, many salads.
Hmm.
I don't know how he puts up with that, honestly, but I think he likes it that she is so childlike.
Yeah.
It just it makes him feel younger in some way or
Yeah.
something. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's kind of like how he equates, Metallica playing when he was in high school.
Right.
It's just he jumps timelines so much that maybe he secretly likes the fact that she's stunted mentally and physically and with a palate of a 6-year-old.
Right.
So.
When he was a kid and he jerked off to Linda Carter, and when he was a kid of 26 years old. Right. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that came up this week. Elaine Joyce in 1975, he
Oh
was
yeah.
jerking off to as a kid, but he was 21 or 22. Yeah. Okay.
I love that.
Thanks.
Denise Richards was my favorite one. Starship Troopers came out in 97. He goes, when I was a kid.
He was 44.
Now, by the way, guys, the next one is called Live the Day, and then thank you for also giving it a subheading, taking the trash out. So the next theme will be the Live the Day theme. So when I get enough of them for a full theme, that's going to be out there for you guys.
Oh, my God. Last
Fantastic.
night was so bad. We have a bag of like, I guess it's candy for when friends come over and stuff. Well, Beth said, you got to do me a favor. Just go in the kitchen and throw out all of the giggles because it's torturing me. I said, okay. Everywhere. So she goes, there's like one bag in there. I pull out the bag. Next thing I know, I find a second one, a third one, a fourth one. I go, oh, my God. She goes, why are you showing me these bags of candy? I go, because you told me to throw them out. She goes, just get them out of the house quickly. I'm feeling weak. So
What?
Okay. That's him rubbing it in her face.
Yeah.
That's him holding up like 6 bags going, what the hell? Where did
Yeah.
these come from?
Yeah.
You told me 1 and there's like 6 in there because she probably, the idiot she is, forgot.
Yeah.
She just unpacked a whole box from Amazon and threw it in there.
Right.
And now if any of this is real,
Yeah.
I feel like I have to preface every show with what you're about to hear may or may not be true. But to the
Absolutely.
best of my knowledge, in documenting the downfall of the show, this is the best I can do for you guys.
Well, the imagery you got just reminded me of Mommy Dearest and no wire hangers. Like it was just going nuts.
Exactly.
So there you go.
I'm throwing out bags of candy. Oh my God!
Have you ever seen that movie, The Man with the Golden Arm?
Yeah, she's
where,
an addict.
You had to lock the guy got locked in a room. They wouldn't let him out because if he got out, he would drink.
Yeah, Giggles.
Lock Beth in a room.
Yeah, Giggles are like her cocaine. So I take the Giggles and I throw them out because I throw out the garbage every night. Yeah, even though I'm a megastar.
Howard Stern.
Yeah, that's my job.
Wow.
Yeah, even though I'm a megastar. Which there's very few stars as bright as me.
You're A-list, man.
I'm A-list.
You're not supposed to be.
I once saw an article that's
okay.
A-list my ass, and you're not taking the trash out. Fuck that shit. If anything, you take a bag and you just wing it out the door. You do not take your trash out. There is no way he is lifting one finger to do one chore around that house. He pays a staff, and they're doing it.
Yeah, when
he might have told Consuela or Javier, get this shit out of the house because that woman's going to snarf it down. But there's no way he did it himself. And we know that his house, right, down in Florida where he allegedly is, he's not going to be exposed. He's not going to go out in sunlight. He's not going to be exposed to bugs or lizards, which
no way, iguanas.
I'm just. He's just Mr. Veal. I still question those walks that he allegedly takes. I think he's on a treadmill in the house.
The thing is there, of course, also that he's okay. First of all, and this isn't empty bags that he's throwing out. She basically saying, throw out these full bags before I scarf them all, like some kind of addict, right?
Yeah, she told him, don't just throw them in the trash and leave them there. You have to take the trash out to the street.
Right.
Because I will dig through the trash and eat them. Well, allegedly.
Okay, well, if true, which I don't doubt it actually in this case, because sugar addiction is a reality. There is a truth to that. Like people who are addicted to chips or pretzels or something, or soft drinks. I mean, there are lots of coffee, you name it. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, what's killing him more? That he's throwing out, he's having to see all this candy stuff, or the cost of what he's throwing out. Like, how much I paid? $195 for this bag. The other thing,
yeah, that could be.
The other thing was, like, if you're okay, didn't we not say ages ago that one of the key components, one of the key traits of anorexia is sugar cravings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, if you see Beth in any recent photos and stuff, she's only looking worse and worse. And it's going to, believe it or not, get to Karen Carpenter proportions more than it already is. That when you see that her face doesn't match the clavicles and stuff, it's because she's heavily made up.
Okay. Well, yeah. I believe she's got stashed candy.
Oh, yeah.
That he doesn't know about, that she keeps in Girl Town.
Oh, yeah. So. She's Ginny Sack. The next one, guys, Candy Blowies.
Easy. And she,
if is she going to stay off this time because she knows?
She said she's going to detox till this. How many months? I think 3 months. And then she says she claims she's going to go back. I go, but that's crazy. But I felt like if I was an evil person, I could make her blow me for candy. I could be like a coke dealer, like a pimp.
That sounds like you're forcing her, like which she doesn't do anyway for money now at this point. So that, like, what kind of fucking scenario is that?
It sounds quite familiar to her European days.
No kidding. You want Ruby? Sucky.
She eats like she's one of the 1,000-pound sisters, and yet she's in great shape. You see her
even a pound.
No, she's super thin. Crazy.
Fucking hell, because that's the only thing she eats. That the way he's going to explain it. My God, with that kind of diet, what's going to happen to her? Like, if you're just eating sugar and sugar and sugar and all that stuff? What's like? Why aren't her teeth black? Why don't they look like his teeth? They're probably fake. That's why.
Because her genetics, her Mama Judy eats like Entenmann's and Dunkin' Donuts every day. Like
Wow.
that woman eats fast food and sugar.
Hmm.
That's what she was raised on. Like
That's her metabolism.
this woman did not provide a nutritious diet. I'm surprised the brothers grew up as big and strong as they did. They probably eventually knew better than to let mom feed them.
Yeah.
But like he's notoriously known not to cook,
Yeah.
eat fast food, and eat like sugary breakfasts.
Wow.
So that's clearly where Beth gets it from. And there are some people that are just gifted
Yeah.
with the ability to eat like shit and still look good. I don't understand it.
So
It makes no sense to me.
she's
I am not that lucky.
she's the she's the Keith Richards of the candy set. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Guys, the last one is Dame Dench, that's Judi Dench, declared dead.
I don't even understand this. I might bring someone into Jason, you know about this. There's a scandal with, I didn't even know Facebook had AI.
Everybody has
Yes,
AI now.
yes, everybody has AI now.
Why am I
Yes.
not working that? A new Wall Street Journal report showed that AI chatbots on Facebook and Instagram can be manipulated to participate in graphic sex talk, even with underage users. Some of these chatbots mimic the voice of popular celebrities like John Cena, Kristen Bell, and Judi Dench. Out of those three, guess who I don't know in real life?
Don't know Judi Dench.
That's correct. I do know John Cena, and I
And
do
you're
know
never
Kristen
going to
Bell.
meet her.
Well,
You don't
Judy
think
might
so?
do the show.
She dead?
She's dead.
Oh, she is? I didn't know that.
Are you
Dame
sure?
Judi Dench. Are you sure about
Yes,
that?
Dame Judi Dench is gone.
So you're telling me, because I'm on Facebook, I don't go on it a lot, but I go on Facebook and I can chat with John Cena voice?
Sure.
To explain it
Yes,
to me.
wait, hold on a second. Somebody should really double check the Judi Dench note because a lot of people
I'm
are
not seeing
telling
it a lot.
telling
Hold on.
you.
Robin.
Because
Hold
Robin
on,
has been
Howard,
wrong before.
I'm a
Yeah.
huge
I'm not-
fan of her.
I'm telling you. What an idiot. They even for those of you that want to go deeper on this, they posted on YouTube Stern Show channel Robin's apology for this. Completely wrong. Judi Dench is alive and well at 90
Yeah.
years old, I think.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh.
She might not be as active as she once was, or even filming anymore. Like
Okay,
Sean
90,
Connery.
no one's
Yeah, Sean Connery went into like retirement after I think it was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which was he had so many shit things to say about that and the director and everything. I found it entertaining, but he went into seclusion and didn't even do. I don't. He might have even not even done interviews. But I don't think she's dead. Let's check.
Hers.
Yeah, I'm
We'll
not
find out how
seeing it.
big.
Judi Dench is alive and she's 90 years old.
Yeah.
She can't be because I've already declared her dead.
Oh, my God, Robin. Anyway.
Fantastic. RobinIsWrong.com Part 2 coming soon, guys.
I love that she's so haughty about it and she won't back down. She's Tom Petty on these things.
If I say she's dead, she's dead. We've got a few blinds to close off today, guys, and then we'll make it a day. May 8th, actually. Whenever you say anything negative online about the celebrity wife of the donut singer, she sends a bunch of threats off to try to get it taken down. Bunny XO / Jelly Roll. That's funny. Like people that are on like their online thing. Younger artists especially would have like a team of people checking out their online profiles and making sure that they get, treated correctly.
Interesting.
The next one.
I thought the donuts. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
When you said the donut singer, I was thinking Ariana Grande because she licked the donut in that donut shop years ago.
Oh yeah, well I think that NT does these to rather than get around from saying the name, so he can I don't know, so he's not caught up on anything. He could just say like what was it? What was the one he called? Well, it was about Meatloaf, the singer. I think he called him the oven roast singer or something like that.
The
I love
names are
it.
good. I like
Yeah,
them.
it depends. This one's from the same day. The awful former manager can say what he wants, but he knows he forced the north of the border singer to go on tour to earn the manager more money. Scooter Braun, Justin Bieber, because it talks about his rift with Scooter Braun. That might be exactly what it was. One of the last
Mm.
straws for Justin or his people saying, like, look, this guy's an ass. Get rid of him.
He's just there for the money. He's
Yeah.
just pimping them for money, and who knows what other crazy stuff. Maybe we'll find out in the Diddy trial.
Okay, this is a brand new one. I didn't even see this, so I'm reading this the first time. Same day. A concert in 9 days is one of the most visited cities in the world. Tickets to the concert starring this former A-list singer can be found for less than $20. Katy Perry, Las Vegas on StubHub.
Oh my God.
$20 for Katy Perry. Do you know what, these prices, we're talking, um, God, I think I paid that much for the Reverend Horton Heat in my hometown at like a small club that was
Hmm?
like 150 people, like $20. That's
Yeah, that's
club.
what
Those are club prices.
that was back in the 90s and the early 2000s. I was paying that for concerts. But
Yes.
um, did you hear that Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour to
Yes.
fill that up, they were selling for like $15, like
I
right before the show that day?
I read that. Yeah. This is a funny one because it's a baseball related one. This is from the 7th. Whenever the team is on the road, this married foreign-born A-plus list athlete takes his girlfriend with him. His wife doesn't care because the marriage is all PR anyway. Shohei Ohtani, Los Angeles Dodgers, Mamiko Tanaka. Like that's not surprising to me in the slightest. The baseball guys that get
Mm-mm.
away with murder. Uh,
Look, they're so pampered, it's ridiculous. They get anything they want. They could have 10 women on the side and we would never know.
this one is interesting. I never read this before. This permanent A-list actor who sometimes directs is still not admitting all the things he did with the permanent A-list quote unquote singer. I think he is worried about age issues. Ben Affleck, Britney Spears. I don't recall anything he did
Hmm.
with Britney Spears, but if she was and she was he got big when she was big, underage, he could be in some serious shit if she ever decided to open her mouth about it.
Yeah, I don't know what was going down back in the day because she had Justin Timberlake for a while and she was hanging out with Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan there for a blink of an eye. And who knows? Eh,
Oh, yeah.
Such a seedy town, Hollywood.
Big time. This next one, guys, is funny because it actually is a thing. The How You Say Cucumber reality star who changed her name now says you can't make fun of her any longer because she does it all because of a medical condition. So you are a bad person if you criticize her and she is a victim. Hilaria Baldwin. Someone sent me that and I couldn't stop laughing. Come on.
Yeah, she's claiming OCD or ADHD or both,
Yes.
in that basically her brain works too fast and she can't control like the dialect, whatever language she's
Yeah.
speaking or
Right.
the dialect she's using.
Just absolute nonsense. Anyway, there's a
Yeah.
few more, but we'll save them for another time. And there's going to be more the next time we record, guys. So, do you have a, dedication for this one, out of curiosity?
Tom Petty won't back down.
Oh,
Is
for
what I
Robin.
got.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
We don't have a single Tom Petty song, so that's perfect. From I think from
Okay.
Full Moon Fever. So, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, shout out to Kayla. I've been listening to our playlist. Fantastic job. Way to
Yeah,
go. I love
yeah.
it. The Spotify playlist for QF Blood Brothers. If you
Yep.
guys want to find it, enjoy. Great
It,
stuff.
it is really good. It's a great mix, and it's only getting bigger. It's an extra, I think, 3 songs a week based on it's only for, I mean, you'll only hear it if you're on Patreon. I don't put it on the YouTube channel, and neither do I put it on Podbean and Spotify. So, anybody who wants to check it out, absolutely look it up. It's a good collection. There's only, I think, maybe a scatter 5 songs that aren't available because they're from live stuff that I have, or they're not available on Spotify regularly. They would just be extras. So, on the one other thing was going to ask you, I forgot about it at the time, but he said in that
Yeah.
clip about him being A plus lister or A list or whatever. At
Hmm.
this point in time, even with name recognition, there's actual fame and then there's A list recognition or whatever. What would you give him? There's no way he's more than C list name recognition at this point, and actual celebrity, he's like D.
See, it's hard because this is like my hobby of what I do.
Sure.
And it depends what age group you're speaking with. You know, it's hard. If you're talking to somebody 40 and older, they probably would say B list.
Yeah.
But anybody younger would be D.
Yeah.
They'd be like, who? Who's that? Never heard of them.
Yeah.
They have no clue unless they've seen TikToks of him and like Charlie XCX, Billie Eilish,
Right.
or the Anna Nicole Smith one. That got big for a while on TikTok.
Yeah. We'll have to blow
And
him
now
up.
Dana Plato's coming around. So
Yes, and we are actually I've got a shout out one to James T. Hope you're doing well. We don't hear from you as often as we used to, but that's fine. We know you're keeping busy and you're still listening. So just shout out to you. Hope you're doing well. Also to Jesus, it's Heather Foster just posted recently about the Dana Plato stuff that for some reason maybe it was an anniversary or it came up, and I'm in the process of putting together all the clips needed for the full Dana Plato saga. It'll probably be 2 episodes, 2 long episodes, I suppose, just to get it in a nice bookended thing. And we're going to have, I think, a series of co-hosts for each one, and everybody's going to have a chance to listen to part 1 who's on part 2 that wasn't on part 1, so they'll be able to comment on stuff that they weren't involved in the audio or video segments. So shout out to you two guys, well, guy and girl. And well, that's it. I hope you guys have had fun with this one, and we will catch you on the next one.
hi guys. Thanks.
Johnny was going to call in with a
Later, man. Good. Thanks for calling.
All right,
an
Eric.
announcement.
Take care,
today,
buddy.
but he sprained his ankle.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Hey, Eric, I got to run a little.
Take care, buddy.
All right, thanks, Eric.
Oh, wait.
Go fuck yourself.
Anyone looking to go to
No.
any concerts this summer?
No.
Check out. Get pre.
No one wants to go. We'll see you, buddy. Bye.
Hank, you're on the air.
Hey now, Howard. Howard.